Welcome to Manny's TV Talk, where we will talk about all of our favorite reality TV shows and news surrounding them. Grab a snack, a drink, and get comfortable because this starts now.
Guys, welcome in and thank you for coming so we can recap this new episode of the Kardashians. That's episode 5 of the new season, which is season 3 on Hulu. We pick up once again at Milan, Italy. It's the night before the show, so Kim is in her room with her friends. They're just chit-chatting, and one of them says that she heard that Khloe met a man in the elevator and she was, flirting with him and she kind of liked his vibe, so they want to invite this man over. And North is there, and oh my, she is so creative. She says, let's make a note pretending to be the guy and leave it at Khloe's room, and we knock and we leave it in her door, and they do just that. It was so funny because Kim was into it, all the friends were into it. They go and leave it in her room. We go back to Los Angeles. Kourtney and her husband are there because Travis is a part owner of this new restaurant and it's like the grand opening. So they're there with all their kids. The name of the restaurant is Crossroads. And something really interesting, in her confessional, they tell Kourtney, everyone is there except your family. And Kourtney answers, this is my family. And I was like, okay, applause to her. Travis and Kourtney are still into their PDA, not as much as when they first were together, but they are still doing it. Like, they kiss while having food in their mouth, and I was just like, ew, that's gross. But let's go back to Italy because it's finally the day of the show, and we see the backstage and the process, with so many people. They're focusing, they're working really hard. Then Dolce and Gabbana take Kim to a private room, and they gift her this beautiful necklace and earrings. They're made of diamonds, and I can't even imagine how much it was worth, but it was really nice and she really, really appreciates it. And then the rest of the family arrives and it's time for the show. They're checking the models. This is really important because Kim is the creative director of this show, so it's a pretty big deal. And, without further ado, the show starts. They begin by turning off all the lights, and then there's this huge movie screen that shows Kim, and she's eating pasta. And then the models begin to walk out. The show was spectacular. As far as the outfits the girls were wearing, there was a few that were questionable, who would wear that? But overall, it was okay. And when all the girls finished walking out, that big screen that began the show splits in half and Kim comes out. And keep in mind, it's all dark, but as the screen splits, all you see is Kim and a bunch of white light. It was amazing. And she says in her confessional that she still can't believe this is her life. And I always wonder that, when you're famous and you're doing all this stuff, do you eventually get numb to the feeling at a certain point, or are you still in awe? And it looks like, at least for her, these things are still a big deal and they mean a lot to her. Once the show finishes, they are backstage, all of them, and that guy from the 365 Days Netflix movie comes, and I think his name is Michelle, and they're all, saying to Khloe, ooh, Khloe, go with him, and he seemed a little nervous, and how could you not, right? But all they say is, we will see you later tonight. I thought the show was at night, but I guess not, because then in the next scene, we see Khloe and Kris getting ready for dinner, which is still going to be later. Khloe actually took a picture with that man where it kind of looks like he's kissing her forehead, and it was all over the internet. I guess he wasn't that nervous because Khloe and him were chatting away during the show, and she says that she really finds him attractive, that he's this and he's that, but I don't think that's really Khloe's type. But anyway, going back to LA, it's Kourtney again with her stylist. She, of course, talks about the show because she saw pictures all over the internet, and she's disappointed that Dolce and Gabbana and Kim did 90s looks, because a lot of those looks were from the show are the ones that she wore at her wedding or something like that. And basically, she's a little mad at Dolce and Gabbana, but she understands, they don't really owe her any loyalty, but so that means that she's mainly mad at Kim for picking looks that resemble the ones that she wore for her wedding. And she's also mad with her mom because it's only been 4 months since the wedding, so they must have been planning this for a long time. The next scene is Kim and the family. Like I said, they were going over for dinner, so now it's the time to do so. She's wearing a great dress, but it was so tight she could barely walk. Khloe in her confessionals though throws some shade and says Kim had to rely on her ex-husband for fashion, but now look at what she's doing. And after they have dinner, they have like some pasta, and Kris, the mom, gives a speech and thanks everyone for doing this for her daughter. She looked very proud. And somehow during the dinner, they bring up Kourtney. Kim calls her a hater. And then after dinner, they go to some club and they have a great night. We then move to Kris and Khloe going to a workout session. It's days later and it's after Milan, so they're back home. And they talk about the fake note that North wrote in the beginning of the episode. It was hilarious, you guys. So Khloe actually saw the guy again and she said, thank you for the note. And the guy says, what note? What are you talking about? And she says, the one you wrote me. And she shows it to him and the guy says, that was not me. And you really think that would be my handwriting? It was so funny. But then they get into the mess. Kris asks Khloe if Kim and Kourtney have talked. They have not. And it's interesting because apparently this rivalry that they have, specifically when it comes to clothes, has gone all the way back to when they were in grade school. Then we see Kourtney and Travis again. He surprised her with a recreation of their engagement. It's like a giant heart made of like a million roses. It was at the beach. They sit together inside of it. There's music in the background. He gives her a necklace and then they run out to the water. I don't want to sound corny or cringy or anything, but it was pretty special. It was really romantic. And then the last scene is Khloe going over to Kim's house. And again, they're really milking this story. But Khloe asks, have you talked to Kourtney? Kim says no. Khloe actually talked to Kourtney and she says Kourtney was really upset, she was crying, and that all her friends are egging her on and that they agree with her that what Kim did was messed up. So Kim calls some guy named Simon who is super close to Kim, but he's also super close to Kourtney. And the guy says that he feels like the conversation should not happen yet because essentially Kourtney feels betrayed and blindsided. And Kim says it's not true, she was not blindsided, and that at the end of the day, she doesn't need to ask for Kourtney's permission. She says, matter of fact, Kourtney wore something in her wedding that Kim had worn before. And she says that there was actually a lot of things that she left out of this Milan show specifically because of Kourtney. So she was being mindful. Then Kim says, well, you guys are saying that all her friends are agreeing with her. Who? Is it Travis? Because she doesn't have any friends. And I was like, oh, shots fired. And then Khloe tells Kim, when she does talk to Kourtney, please don't be mad. Don't be coming with your attitude. And definitely don't have the mom there. And that's how the episode ends, you guys. Really cool seeing all the behind the scenes fashion stuff. And like I said, the show was pretty cool. Next episode, Kim and Kourtney will finally see each other, so they'll be able to, I guess, confront each other on everything that's been happening. But overall, pretty good episode, pretty entertaining. So yeah, you guys, if you guys watch the show, let me know what are your thoughts, or if you're just listening, what are your thoughts and any comments you have. Please don't forget to like, subscribe. I'll catch you on next time. You have a great one. Bye.